On behalf of Sports Authority of India and Boxing Federation of India, sir, I welcome my guest today to this inaugural session of e-learning in coach development program, sir. We have Mr. Ajay, he is President of Boxing Federation of India. We have got Mr. R.K. Sancheti, he is the Executive Director of Boxing Federation of India. And we have our worthy Director General, Mr. Sandeep Pradhan here, sir. And it's a overwhelming response what we have seen here. Last 20 minutes, 227 have registered, and I think it is going to further increase. Today, we have all joined this session in this tough time where our country is facing to maximize our time and devote our time towards coach development programs. And I must thank the directions and the guidance of our DG that he initiated this program for 16 sports today, and with the help of Boxing Federation of India, we have got a huge response here, sir. Not taking much time, sir, I would like to request our President, Shri Ajay, to address the participants and to motivate them with his key points on this e-learning through Zoom. And also, I would like to request Mr. Sancheti to give his views on this, sir. Thank you so much. Over to our President, sir, Mr. Ajay, sir.
Very, very warm welcome to all of you. DG side, Mr. Pradhan, I'm especially grateful that you are here in this call. This is a fantastic initiative of Sports Authority of India and the Boxing Federation of India. I'm told that we are conducting 30 classes, 30 such coach seminars every single day from now on for the next 30 days. The classes will be taken by our performance director, Santiago, as well as by the best coaches that we have, strength and conditioning experts, and others. In addition to this, we are also conducting sports science classes, which are tomorrow at 11:30 in the morning. This is, I think that this is a wonderful way to spend the time that we have during lockdown to exchange information, to impart information, and to become better coaches, better boxers, and ensure that this time is being used productively. As you know, boxing has come a very long way in the last 2 or 3 years. All of you have contributed greatly to the sport of boxing. From a situation where we could not even box under our own flag anywhere around the world. Today, we are a recognized leader in the space of boxing. मतलब आज हमारी जो रेपुटेशन है बॉक्सिंग में दुनिया के टॉप 5-6 देशों में हम गिने जाते हैं. और जैसे आप लोग सब जानते हैं कि ओलंपिक्स जो टोक्यो ओलंपिक्स जो अब थोड़ा डेफर हो गया है अगले वर्ष के लिए, उसमें हमारे 13 कैटेगरीज में से कैटेगरी में बॉक्सर ऑलरेडी क्वालिफाई हो चुके हैं. और हमारी पूरी आशा है कि बाकी 4 कैटेगरी में भी फरवरी में जब ये वर्ल्ड क्वालिफायर होगा तो कम से कम 2 या 3 बॉक्सर हम और क्वालिफाई करेंगे. तो इस समय बॉक्सिंग का जो महत्व है और बॉक्सिंग की रेपुटेशन है वो कभी भी भारत का जो स्तर है इससे ऊंचा नहीं रहा. लेकिन हमें तब तक रेस्ट नहीं करना जब तक हम दुनिया के सबसे बड़े बॉक्सिंग नेशन ना बन जाए और ओलंपिक मेडल्स की मात्रा में ओलंपिक मेडल्स मिलने चाहिए, तभी हमारा सक्सेस होगा. और इसके लिए बहुत आवश्यक है कि आप लोग जो कोचेस हैं, जब तक हमारे अपने कोचेस नहीं होंगे जो क्वालिफाइड होंगे, जो सशक्त नहीं होंगे, तब तक इंडिया कैन नेवर बिकम अ बॉक्सिंग नेशन. तो थ्रू प्रोग्राम्स ऑफ दिस सॉर्ट आई एम कॉन्फिडेंट दैट more and more coaches will add to their knowledge base, and bring up better and better boxers from the grassroots level. So hum from the BFI side, from SAI side, we will keep trying. A big thank you to Sports Authority of India for always supporting us and for enabling us to excel the way that we are. हम लोग सब एक टीम इंडिया हैं. We are all one team India, and we have to make sure that we succeed together. And जिसको कहते हैं कि अपने झंडे को हम हमेशा ऊपर फहराएं और बार-बार हमारा राष्ट्रगान इंटरनेशनल चैंपियनशिप्स पे सुनाया जाए. उसी के लिए हम सब लोग काम कर रहे हैं और आप सब लोगों का बहुत-बहुत धन्यवाद कि आप इस तरह से पार्टिसिपेट कर रहे हैं इस फंक्शन में. थैंक यू.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ajay, President, Boxing Federation of India. Sir. Now I'll request none other than Mr. R.K. Sancheti, who had got outstanding contribution towards results in boxing. As we know that already we have got 9 boxers qualified for Olympics, and it is all his motivation and is doing in Boxing Federation of India. May I request Mr. Sancheti to take on the mic now, sir?
Now I request our DG Sai. See, we have done, but now request DG Sai to say a few words.
श्री अजय सिंह जी, प्रेसिडेंट बॉक्सिंग फेडरेशन ऑफ इंडिया, सचेती जी, हमारे सीनियर एग्जीक्यूटिव डायरेक्टर, उपस्थित सभी कोचेस, मुझे आज अत्यंत खुशी हो रही है इस बात से कि हमने कुछ दिन पहले, सबसे पहले मेरे दिमाग में जब ये आया था आइडिया, तो मैंने अजय सिंह साहब को फ़ोन किया था. अजय सिंह साहब, अभी हमारा ये लॉकडाउन चल रहा है, तो इसमें हमें कोच एजुकेशन के लिए कुछ करना चाहिए. उसके बाद में उन्होंने बेड़ा उठा के कुछ प्लानिंग किया, कुछ वीडियोस वगैरह भी तैयार किए, और फिर हम अपना कोई और प्रोग्राम में लग गए. एंड देन वी थॉट कि अभी हम फेडरेशंस को फॉर्मली रिक्वेस्ट करते हैं कि आप अपने अपने ई लर्निंग प्रोग्राम शुरू कीजिए. मुझे ये खुशी हो रही है कि आज 14 प्रोग्राम की एक लॉन्च हुए हैं. 2 प्रोग्राम हॉकी और बैडमिंटन का 20 तारीख को हो रहा है, और ये 275 में करीब हम हमारे जैसे 5-10 नॉन कोचेस को अगर निकाल भी दें तो 4500 2500 कोचेस ने डिफरेंट 14 स्पोर्ट्स डिसिप्लिन में आज सेशंस लिया है या ले रहे हैं. ये आज का ये आखिरी सेशन है. तो मैंने खुद ही इतना ही नहीं सोचा था कि हमारे कोचेस में इतना उत्साह होगा कि ये ऑनलाइन ट्रेनिंग सेशंस का फायदा उठाएं. मुझे सब और ज़्यादा खुशी होती है कि फेडरेशंस के साथ एक बार बात करने के बाद उन्होंने हर एक फेडरेशन ने इतने अच्छे उनके परफॉर्मेंस डायरेक्टर या कोचेस, चीफ कोचेस जो है या बेस्ट ट्रेनर्स को उन्होंने ये पूरे सेशंस में लगाया है और पूरे इंडिया में अपने कोचिंग फ्रेटर्निटी में मैसेज पहुंचा है. और साई का काम जो है वो एक प्लेटफॉर्म प्रोवाइड करना है जो हमने प्रोवाइड किया है. और जैसे हर बार हमारी भूमिका रहती है कि जब जैसे सपोर्ट की जरूरत पड़ेगी वैसे सपोर्ट करेंगे. स्पोर्ट्स साइंस के लिए आप सब जानते हैं कि एक कॉमन स्पोर्ट्स साइंस का मॉड्यूल शाम को 5 से 6 भी हमने लॉन्च किया है. सचेती साहब, जो भी ये कोचेज है उनको भी आप वो उसका वेबिनार का आप एड्रेस दे दीजिए, क्योंकि उसमें भी बड़े अच्छे स्पीकर सब ऑर्गेनाइज किए. लेकिन साथ साथ में मैं इस बात को भी जानता हूँ और मानता भी हूँ कि गेम स्पेसिफिक स्पोर्ट्स साइंस के नॉलेज की भी अत्यंत आवश्यकता है. मुझे लगता है कि अभी हमारे सभी के पास समय है कि हम ये सभी सेशन से काफी कुछ सीख सकते हैं. अंत में मैं यही निवेदन करना चाहूंगा कि मैं इसको एक शुरुआत समझता हूँ. अजय सिंह साहब को मैं हमेशा ये कहता हूँ कि मैं उनसे आइडियाज लेता हूँ, उनसे सीखता हूँ. अलग अलग डायमेंशंस जिस तरह से वो सोच सकते हैं, उनको पूरे दुनिया का एक्सपीरियंस है, तो मैं उनसे सीखता हूँ और सीखते रहूंगा. तो अजय सिंह साहब, मेरी एक विनती है आपको कि आप पूरे साल का ये कोचेस का अलग अलग ग्रेडेशन करके पूरे साल के लिए अलग अलग प्रोग्राम इनके बनाइए, ऑनलाइन बनाइए, ऑफलाइन बनाइए, फॉरेन एक्सपर्ट्स को जहां बुलाना है बुला करके. इंडियन हमारे पास टैलेंट भी बहुत अवेलेबल है, तो वो पूरा आप प्लानिंग करें. और ये साल हम एक तौर पे कोच डेवलपमेंट के लिए इंडिया में एक रिवॉल्यूशन लाए, उसकी ये शुरुआत आज की ऑनलाइन ट्रेनिंग सेशन है, ऐसा मैं मानूंगा. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद.
Thank you so much, DG sir, for giving us insight about this e-learning and your future ambitions. Sir, we are all there to support you. And once again, I thank Mr. Ajay, President, Boxing Federation of India, and Mr. Sancheti for joining us. Now, I would like to hand over the complete stage to our lecturer, and Mr. Gupta can take over.
Good evening, all the participants. Please note 2 or 3 things. First of all, when the lecture is in the progress, please mute your mics. Some of them, they were open. Now, the second information, which is very important for Sai coaches and all, that attendance is compulsory at the end of each session, as desired by our Director General Saab. We have to submit the attendance to the head office. So I request all the coaches that you must be present there in all the session. Those who will remain absent, their names, they will be submitted. The third information is very important. As our Director General Saab, they have said, it is one of the most important initiative which has been taken by SAI during your lockdown time. They have invited the best speakers. It's a time for you to learn. When you are there in this program, you should bring your notebooks also, note down some points. And at the end of each session, the last 15 minutes will be devoted for your question answers. You can put any query, question, it will be cleared. And further, if you have any doubt, you can send by email or on a WhatsApp. Our worthy executors, directors, they have assured that any question, query comes, it must be answered in a well manner. So it is my request to all the participant coaches that at the end of a seminar, there will be a some sort of examination type in which you will be evaluated. Evaluation is one of the most important aspects in the field of coaching. Any year you are training, you are evaluated. So at the end of the course, it means that how much you have learned from this course and where we have to go in the future. With these words, I thank you all and request Mr. Santiago Nivia to carry on today's lecture. Mr. Santiago Nivia.
Okay, welcome everybody for this online education for boxing coaches. We have a good program for a full month. We have 30 sessions. We'll have 5 sessions per week. This week we will have 2 sessions today and tomorrow from 4 to 5 p.m. And from next week on, we will have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 4 to 5, and then Friday and Saturday, 4 to 5 p.m. First session today, we're gonna speak about boxing technique. Okay, we're gonna speak about boxing technique. We're gonna look a little bit at terminology. Then I will try to do some demonstrations. I have prepared some video. Let's hope we can deal good with the technique. So the first thing I will do is try to get this slide on. Let's see. So I hope everybody can see it. So when we speak about boxing technique, if we put a definition into it, what is the technique? We can say that technique may be considered as the specific manner of performing a physical exercise. What does it mean? It means that the way we punch, the way we move, the way we defend has a technical aspect into it, which is very important for it to be efficient. First thing I will like to stress that if possible, if you look at this not through your phones, but if you have a laptop or an iPad or something with a bigger screen, otherwise it might be difficult in the phone to see because the screen will be very small. The technique follows a model which is what most people would say is generally accepted of a good technique. So when enough boxers throw a punch a certain way, it becomes the model to follow, what like the standard for what is a perfect technique. For it to be a good technique, must be biomechanically sound and physiologically efficient. Means that we should not waste unnecessary energy when we punch. If I throw a straight punch, I cannot punch like this, but it has to go in a straight line with the muscles working in the same direction as the punch, etc. Biomechanically sound and physiologically efficient. good technique is the same as high efficiency. If we can score, if we can land hard punches fast and hard, then it would be a good technique. There is no rule about the technique. We don't get extra points generally for better technique, but it helps us to develop our tactics and beat our opponent. The technique should not be confused with the style. The style is the individual representation of the technique. So I can teach the same technique for 50 boxers. You have to punch like this, and their individual interpretation of this technique will become their style. And the technique of a champion is not always the model to follow. Sometimes you have some champion who has become champion, he or she has become champion despite having some technical flaws. So you cannot just look at a champion or try to copy because maybe it suits for that boxer, but it doesn't suit us. The first thing that when we start is the boxing stance, the first thing that we have to look at. And already here, there are differences. This depends on many factors, our height, our distance to the opponent, etc., our preferences. We will look at that. After the stance, we will look at the footwork. We will look at different type of steps, the most common in boxing. The terminology might be slightly different, what most of you have learned through NIS, but it's more or less the same. We have discussed this. But the normal steps or plain steps, the pivots or side steps, when I do a circular movement, rotate, pendulum steps and diagonal steps we're going to look at. We're going to look at jumps as well, we can include. The punches, same here. In different boxing cultures, in different countries, in different languages, you have different definition of the punches. But I think easy to say we have three types of punches: straight punches, uppercuts, and hooks. You can throw with the left, you can throw with the right, you can throw to the head, you can throw to the body. So that gives us 12 variations. We look at the combination of punches when we combine the different punches. And very important in boxing, punching in movement, because we are constantly in movement and our opponent as well. So we have to teach how to move and punch. Here we can see on a chart the three different punches: straights, uppercuts, and hooks, with the left, with the right, to the head and to the body, gives us 12 variations. And then you have other variations as well, but this way we can make it simple to teach. It's more difficult if we tell the boxer, okay, we have 72 different type of punches. This way, I think it's easier to learn. There are three punches, with the left and with the right, to the head and to the body, gives us 12 variations. This is the most common system used in the world. Apart from the punches, of course, we have the defenses. After every punch, we teach the defense against that punch. Same thing here, different terminology, but basically three defenses. With the feet, I'm stepping back, I'm going to the side, I'm pivoting. With the hands and arms, I'm catching, I'm blocking or parrying. Or with the trunk or upper body, slipping to the sides, ducking under, or swaying back. Here you will see the chart of the defenses. Three different: with the feet, with the hands and arms, with the trunk or upper body, plain steps, back, left, left and right, pivots, clockwise and anti-clockwise, or we used to say to the left or to the right, etc. Gives us a good picture to understand what are the most common defenses. After defense, I will try to counter if possible, and we can select two different types of counter punches. In the picture, you can see a direct counter. Opponent is punching, and at the same time as I do my defense, I am countering. And the second one, which we can call a counter attack, is I first do the defense and then come back with the with the counter attack. I slip the punch and I counter, I sway back and I counter, etc. The distances is also a tactical priority, which distance I want to fight, and the technique will change of the punches, of the defense, of the stance will change depending on the distance I have to the opponent. And the same thing here, but the most common is to use 3 distances. Long distance, when I am 1 or more steps away from my opponent, means that if I punch, I cannot reach, I must step forward. Medium distance, I can punch, I can connect with any punch without moving my feet. And the short distance, like in this picture, there is physical contact between, and there is short room for punching. Different type of feints have also a technique with the arms, with the upper body, sometimes with the eyes, or with the feet. This has a lot to do with more to do with tactics, but has its technique as well. Training methods for technical training, same here, we have different terminology, but without gloves, if we work on some technical elements, usually we call it school boxing. If we work a little more freely, shadow boxing. If we stand in front of a mirror, we can call it mirror boxing, but school boxing or shadow boxing is very much used to work on the technique without any gloves, and I work on the technical movement. With gloves, with a partner, I can work on technique, and here it's very much mixed, of course, the technique and the tactics. But school fight in a low intensity, my opponent throws a jab, I slip and I counter. I work on a technical element. You can do it in controlled sparring and even in free sparring. Okay, so now you can see me. I will back off a little bit. Ima, if you can. Okay, I hope you can hear me from here. We're going to look at these different elements, and we're going to start with the stance. For a right-handed boxer, normally with the left foot and left hand forward, and normally for a left-handed, you do the opposite. For most boxers, they want a strong hand as a rear hand. Is better? I work on my strong hand as a rear hand, but there are many right-handed that have switched to southpaw. Sometimes they have a very good lead hand. Okay, talking about the basics. I show the way to go into a proper boxing stance. I would say also on guard position is very, very common as well. I used to say boxing stance. There are many ways to do this, but one simple way is just having the feet parallel feet and taking one step forward, turning a little bit sideways to have better protection, having the body weight on the balls of the feet. The heel of the right foot can be a little bit off the floor. The left foot can be full on the floor, but the body weight should be on the ball of the foot. I slightly bend my knees a little bit. I have my left shoulder turning forward. I close my right fist. I put it against the cheek. Elbow back into the body and down with the chin. I close my left hand and put it parallel at the other side and try to see through the eyebrows. Already when I'm going into a stance or on guard position, I am limiting myself. So my stance will depend a lot on my preferences. Maybe many coaches, they do emphasis on high left shoulder to protect better. I prefer low shoulders, hands up, because this will give me more freedom to go faster with my punches instead of going here very tight, it maybe becomes lower. So like I said, different preferences, but if we look at the best boxers in the world, most of them, they're very loose here and they're strong from down. Okay, the distance the same. I used to say, should be able to draw a line between both feet, but there are boxers who stand on one line as well. If I stand on one line, probably I have good judgment forward, backward, but I will have most probably little difficulty moving side to side, especially to my left. That's why I used to say should be able to draw a line there, should be able to draw a line here, not to be too close. If I am maybe a short and maybe a muscular boxer, maybe I like to be a little more square here. The same here, maybe good advantage here, but maybe not so good advantage, at least backwards. Again, sometimes it depends. Some things we have to say, this is white and this is black, but there is a big gray area in between. And many times the answer is it depends. And many times it depends on individual preferences. But there is no one size fits all. But if I have 50 boxers and I need to teach them the stance, I cannot go individually and teach 50 different stances. So the generally accepted stance, like I said, good that I have good balance, a strong position to punch and move in any direction and defend against any punches. This is the importance. If I shift my body weight a little bit backwards, maybe have good control back, but maybe more difficult to over fast forward. If I go here too much forward, maybe I will be very strong on the inside, but probably will have difficult box from outside and so on. Okay, the boxing stance. Okay, we leave the stance there for now. I say it's not possible to measure in centimeters exactly how many degrees should be the hand from the nose. You have to be in a comfortable position. Here, I am loose. I can both extend my left. Here, I'm a little tight, so I go out here. But depending on my height and other factors, it will depend on whatever distance. I say the feet forward a little bit. Here, the feet here, not completely to the side, because it will be more difficult to punch. But here it's okay, here it's okay. The more I lock my foot here, the less movement I will have to my left, unless I'm very flexible at the hips. Okay, let's go with the steps. The normal steps or plain steps, we used to say in Spanish, paso plano. The first one we teach, I go forward, I go backward, maintaining my stance all the time. So every step is as long with the left as with the right, so I go back to the stance. If I take a long step and a short step with the right, a long left and a short step with the right, I will not be able to maintain my stance. What is important here when we teach the steps is that it's not just a step, it's a boxing movement. We need to actively push. When I go forward, the rear foot pushes me forward. Here is a little slippery, but I'll try to show here. I need to push forward, push backward, push forward, push backward. I have seen in so many countries when people teach this, and there is not much connection to what is happening in the ring. So the kids, they are taking steps forward, but these will not help them in the ring. I need to have an active movement. Boom, boom. Strong legs, boom. So I can move quickly. It's very, very important. And then if I take more than one step, normally the first step is long and the second step is short. So long and second step, I should be able to just to find the range to come with the second step. With the plain steps also, you can go in this oblique angle diagonally over to the left and diagonally backwards to the right here, because boxing is not linear. You're moving also around one opponent. So I move here and I move here, as well as forward, backward, and to the side. Not in this direction, because to move in this direction, I have to cross my feet. There we have to take diagonal steps. We look at the diagonal steps later on. Okay, I said it's not linear steps, so we have also the pivots, clockwise here, or anti-clockwise, or to the left, or to the right, we used to say, where I do a quarter of a turn on the lead foot. Boom. And this usually we combine with the plain steps. I can take one to the side here or go in here, for example. But basics, I turn to the ball of the foot to the left or to the right. And the majority of the movements inside the boxing ring is a combination of plain steps with small pivots to one side or to the other. The other steps, the pendulum steps, are small steps backward, forward, maybe side to side, or small jumps here on the spot, or a little bit backward, forward, backward, or just no steps at all, just shifting the body weight from one foot to the other, depending on the boxer. Very good for feinting. Sometimes the fast boxers, they prefer to be up on their toes so they can move freely and fast. While other boxers prefer more contact with the ground to be able to generate more power in the punches. And this can shift during the bout as well. Maybe in the first round, when I'm fresh, I start here, and in the third round, I have to come down because it's very much effort here on my calves, so I have to come down. Again, depends. It's not the same 48 kilo as a super heavyweight. But generally, you can say there is a difference. If you look how boxing looked before, there were, in amateur boxing, there were more stand up and higher. The center of gravity was higher. If you, I don't know, if you take the 200 best boxers in the world, I think you can say the center of gravity is lower today than it was maybe 30 years ago. And the other steps, I said the diagonal steps. In the diagonal steps, I go away from my boxing stance and I cross my feet here forward or backward. Normally with punch, which is from the side. Sometimes my opponent is moving around and I cannot reach here, so I need to surprise attack forward, or my opponent rushes. I'm going to do it backward. See? Opponent rushes here and I move fast backward with diagonal steps, sometimes half diagonal. So diagonal, it becomes very fast. I need to cross here. Boom. If I am fast, I will not cross. I will just follow the same pattern. And when I throw the left, I move the left foot. Long or short. And when I throw the right, I move the right foot. And then back to the on guard position. So these 4 steps are the most common, like we can call the basics. The diagonal steps at the early level are very good for coordination exercises, but it's a little dangerous, especially when I lose control of my opponent and I rush forward here, it's very easy to be hit in off balance. So I would say, have to be a little careful. At the higher level, boxer who can manage this, it can be a very good tool to surprise your opponent. Until you get tired, I would say, because then you try to rush in and you also look like a beginner. 2 minutes more. Hey, I have a lot left.
We have one more class otherwise.
Okay. Okay, let's go to the punches. Straight punches. From the stand. First, we're going to speak of the punches without movement and then with movement, because all the punches I have to be able to punch without moving my feet. Because maybe if my opponent is here, I cannot go further. So I have to be able to generate power without moving my feet. So the jab from the stance, I push a little bit forward here. My rear leg pushes me a little bit forward without losing balance, of course. Here, look, and back. Look, and back. Right hand doesn't do anything. It just keeps in place and protects. Boom. This way, I generate little power. If I want more power sometimes and reach longer, of course, boom. I can take half a step or full step forward. So I have the possibility, I step in with the jab. What I don't like, which I see very common in some boxing punchers, is that when they jab, they move up the heel like this. If I have to throw the 1-2, if I do this and then have to throw the 1-2, I will be much slower. It will take too much time. So this is totally ineffective. Also, if my opponent counters here, I'm very much exposed. So here I have much better control and I will come much better for the right hand. Okay, jab to the head, to the body, boom. Same, but I bend my knees a little bit and I move my upper body away from the center line. Look here and slightly little downward. Get them in the stomach. Right hand, our power punch. The straight right hand is the punch which, before with the scoring system, scored most points. Also, the one which scored most power, knockout, etc. So here, I have long leverage, much more than the jab. Use my full body on the punch. I come over with the body weight on my left side, and then from there back to the stance. I push from the ground here, foot, knee, boom, hips, and upper body forward. Shoulder comes forward, and then back. Left hand goes back, protects, boom, and then pass back to the stance. Cannot aim too long. If I go too long, I will lose my balance. I will not be able to go back. And if I stay here, I'm not using my full body to score with more power and reach longer. Here is also depending on my style, depending on my preferences. Maybe I'm not interested in going in with full power because my opponent is a little dangerous. So I just want to touch and go, score and go. So then I don't come over here. But if I want to punch with power, then I will shift my body weight a little more to the front leg. Right to the body, same as in the left. I will come over with the body weight to the left leg and moving away from the center line, and being in a strong position, here, or for example, left hook. I don't like this here, because yes, maybe I will protect the punch come here, but if opponent changes, and here, very dangerous. So from this position to, and better position to throw the hook. Okay, okay. So straight punches. We'll go with the uppercuts. Same here. Where I come from, we go first with the straight, then uppercut, and then the hooks. In many countries, they teach the hooks before the uppercuts. I don't know how important it is, but we go with the uppercuts. Uppercut, left uppercut to the face. Boom, slightly. Boom. Shift the body weight a little bit to the left leg to get some power. And from here, boom, straight up here. Boom, to the chin here. So I have to go down a little bit to get the punch up. Otherwise, I have to punch here, which I can do. But we say that is a variation of the left uppercut. Left uppercut to the body. Very, very effective punch. Goes to the right side of the body, where we have the liver, which is the biggest internal organ, and everybody who has received the punch here knows what I'm talking about. Very effective. And same thing here. Boom. But I threw it in an oblique angle, 45 degrees upward, trying to get to the liver. Kima, very short. Trying to not go too close. If you stay there, open up your arms a bit. So, or you cross there. So if I am in this position here, boom, upward, oblique upward, 45 degrees. You see me there, from there? So here, bam. Or if I attack, you don't do anything. I keep my hands there, boom. There I go here. Important here, boom, shoot from the hips, extend the leg. Here, not here, not here. And contrary, I will show a couple of videos after, because there is also a big confusion. Many tips that you have to shift the body weight in the rear leg when you throw the uppercut, and 99% of what is happening in the bout, either you can go back to the middle, but mostly, boom, you keep the body weight. These hands are here. I don't want to go back in the line of fire where he hit me again. So, and here, bam, I will throw, trying to get to the liver. I can also aim for the solar plexus, which is another vulnerable point. But it will be, if it's open here, it's longer to that side. This flank is totally open. If he has his arms there, then of course, I can aim here. But most probably I will throw the hook around his arm without going on the backside to the kidneys and try to reach the liver. Thank you. Right uppercut to the face. From the stand, the same thing there. I get the force. Boom, from the ground, extend, and here the upper body can go slightly backwards. So I need room, because here, otherwise I'm disturbing. I'm not getting through. So the upper body can go slightly backwards, make room for the punch, to make room to extend the hips and the legs. Right uppercut to the body. Same thing here, a couple of different variations, but oblique here, 45 degrees. You see the difference between the uppercuts and the hooks, and here at 45 degrees. So this is uppercut, this you can say uppercut, and when we come here, we come to the hooks. Same thing here. If I want to go in with full power and maybe continue working on the inside, I will shift my body weight, my left leg. If I have to be more careful and going fast back, I will not, boom, come over as fast, but going back to the stance. This punch is one of the most, probably the most important for the southpaw boxer, because the liver is still on the right side. So if I throw my lead hook, my lead uppercut, it goes on the other side, but I want to go to the liver. So from here to 45 degrees here, you just stay. I get this guard up and then I smash in the uppercut. We see 90% of the Cuban southpaws, the Kazakh southpaw, Russian southpaws are very good, boom, with this punch. Okay, hooks. Left hook, also another top punch. Left hook to the head, here, pound. Or here, where I boom, turn my palm, the palm of my hand inside through with the thumb up. There's a big debate, has always been which one is the correct one, this one or this one. 1 minute, okay, we'll end there. I will answer the question. Both, I would say, both are correct, but if you look for power, boom, this one is more powerful because I connect more with the biceps. You can see here, biceps is contracted. Here, it's not contracted, it's loose. So I have more muscles in the direction of the punch. So if you look for power, boom, this, and you can put the kids on the bag and you tell them to punch like this. And when you go away 3 minutes and when you come back, boom, they're probably punching like this. But I will tell you the other side of the story next time. What is the advantage of this?
Now I request our worthy Executive Director, VFI, Mr. R.K. Steti, to address the participants. Steti, sir.
So I thank you all.
Okay, thank you. We continue tomorrow, 4 p.m.